Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head 47 times and somehow it gets worse every single time? Or you've convinced yourself that somebody's mad at you because of a text? Or you said something weird at a social gathering? Or you just feel like you're behind everybody else? And all of these things start rattling around your head, and all of a sudden you're spiraling. Here's what I want you to know right away. You are not being dramatic, and you are definitely not alone. You're just in what's called a mental loop. And in this lesson, we're going to learn how to spot those, because you can't really shift something that you don't recognize, right? A mental loop is a thought that repeatedly loops itself over and over automatically without us even trying or thinking about it. It's things like, I always mess up. Everyone probably thinks I'm annoying. I fail at everything I try to do. I'll never understand this. You know those thoughts that are always on repeat in your head. And what's really tricky is that in the moment, it feels so true. Our subconscious makes us feel like this is our truth. And then it just leads to even more negative thoughts and spiraling. And then you start making up things about you that aren't even relevant. But most of the time, this is just what we're familiar with. Our brains love familiarity. Even if it stresses us out, it's going to continue making us feel like that. So if your brain is telling you you're a failure or everyone's going to make fun of you, you won't even try to get out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone equals familiar, which equals safe. So here is where most people get this wrong. They notice they're spiraling, and then they're going to get down on themselves. They're going to say something like, oh, why am I like this? Why do I overthink all the time? I totally get it. I do the exact same thing. And then, of course, you get frustrated because it's happening again. And then you just freaking out because you want to be cool and calm and collective. That, my friends, is what we call judgment. And our goal is to switch from judgment to awareness. Now, awareness is simply noticing what's happening without berating yourself about why it's happening. Awareness can look something like this. Okay, I know that I'm looping right now. I know these negative thoughts are coming, but this is not my reality. It's just thought vomit. My brain is just trying to protect me. This way, we're just observing the pattern and getting a little curious about that thought. Because when you judge yourself, you're just adding another layer onto that judgment, and it's just gonna make you feel even worse. Now, you didn't wake up one day and decide that you're just gonna overthink everything. When you were a kid, do you remember being scared or self-conscious about running naked around your house? Or when you made something in kindergarten and showing it to everyone, were you like, oh, I hope they really like this? Probably not. But as you got older, outside factors began to influence what you think about yourself. Your thought patterns are shaped by so many different aspects of your life. And we're all different. It can be things like your family dynamics, your friendships, social media, social pressure, past experiences and rejections, expectations placed on you, being praised for being the good one or the smart one, being told you're bossy or not good at math. Your brain learned things like, if I stay hyper aware, I'll be safe. If I overanalyze, I won't mess up. If I keep everyone happy, I won't be rejected. Your mental loops are just protective strategies, because what's underneath your thoughts without you having any control is just your brain's way of saying, hey, we need to be over here in this little safe space. And when you see what's causing them, you start to understand why you're spiraling in the first place. How we view ourselves and what we believe is true really is shaped by our past experiences, good and bad. Whether we realize it or not, or no matter how silly it seems or insignificant it was at the moment, that was put into our brain and labeled as either unsafe or this was really good or really happy. So let's say, for example, when you were really younger, you were left out once, or you were embarrassed one time in second grade, or you were criticized by a coach or a teacher. Your brain stores that. And even though on the outside, you're like, oh, that didn't really mean anything. I'm totally over that. It replays as a memory every time a situation similar to that comes up, in order for you to not feel that way again. Because in the moment, it probably was pretty dramatic for you, right? But your brain doesn't want you to get hurt again. So it sounds this alarm that says, we've seen this before, this ends really badly, or this makes you feel terrible. And then suddenly you're spiraling over something and you may not even know why. Your reaction isn't about something that happened right now. It's about what happened back then. Your brain is just afraid of feeling that bad feeling again. Just like how we're wired to avoid jumping into traffic or into a tiger cage. It's so we don't get hurt because we know from past other people's experiences that those things are going to harm us. The only problem is that our brains don't know the difference between embarrassing ourselves and making a fool out of ourselves and messing up again or a life-threatening situation. Does that make sense? We all know that feeling, that paralyzing fear or lump in our throat or ability to think straight. However the spiral shows up for you, next time I want you to pay attention to it. The next time you feel defensive, anxious, rejected, embarrassed, overwhelmed, scared, instead of reacting immediately, I want you to pause and I want you to think to yourself, what is this reminding me of? Was there something in my past that may be bringing these feelings up? Why does this feel bigger than it actually is? What is the story that I am telling myself right now? Because when we get curious, we create space to understand the feeling and understand why our body is reacting that way. And that's so important. When you can stop and ask your body what it's trying to tell you, you're taking back control. You're taking back the power to understand how and why you're reacting the way you are. And it's so important to remember to do this without judging or getting frustrated with yourself. Asking yourself why you feel the way you do isn't an invitation to tell yourself that you shouldn't feel this way or not to feel this emotion, or start asking yourself, why am I like this? The goal isn't to stop the feeling or even to stop from getting upset or frustrated. It's just to notice it. You can even try these question swaps next time. Instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, say, why might I feel this way? Instead of, oh, I'm overreacting again, say, what is this reaction trying to protect me from? Instead of saying, oh, I'm so emotional, why do I freak out over nothing? Try saying, what is my brain trying to scare me away from? The goal right now isn't to eliminate the loops just yet. It's simply to notice when they happen, because you can't change something that you can't recognize. And once you begin seeing them, it becomes easier to catch yourself. Now, make sure you don't get discouraged if the emotion doesn't magically go away. Again, our goal isn't to never have an emotion or to never feel sad or frustrated. And the first time you try this, it isn't going to be easy. Trust me. This is going to take time and consistency. Every time you believe a thought at face value or assume what someone thinks about you or wait for others to validate your feelings, you are handing your power away. This often shows up as your mood shifting based on someone else's tone, your confidence tumbling after someone else's reaction, your mind playing out a million different scenarios based on a text message. And it's not because you're dramatic or emotional. It's because you haven't realized that you have a choice to choose how you feel, even after your initial reaction. You are giving power to what you think might happen, or you're assuming someone else's feelings, or that something else is going to go wrong. I want you to notice the repeat negative thoughts. Notice when your mood shifts. Notice when you feel triggered. When does your overthinking go into overdrive? There's no fixing, forcing, or judging. Awareness is just the beginning of self-trust, and we're going to continue to work on that. So grab your journal and let's start recognizing those negative spirals.